and welcome to another episode of Casual Master Quest.
Beep, beep, boop, bop.
I'm your host for the episode, Nick. This is episode 58. With me, today I have Tyler. Hi, Tyler.
Hi. Hello, people. It's me, Tyler, and I'm co-hosting the show. Yes, I know. I'm addicted and a little sunburnt, and I love Stardew Valley. Yes, I know. I can't rhyme. Okay, sure. I'm not a singer.
I'm back, baby. Let's go. I'm so excited to be back. I'm
Who's
back.
The man?
Hell yeah.
You the man. You've returned.
I have returned. I have survived. The Floridian weather. I have made it back in one piece. I've survived all my flights. And I'm back to doing more work than I could possibly imagine. But here we are recording. Hi, Tyler. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. I got a couple of questions, if you don't mind, about your airplane experience. So, what's the seating spacing like for you? Is it normal for you?
Yeah, just right, usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I mean, I understand I'm a big guy, so I wasn't sure, like, if other people have, similar experiences to me or not, but, yeah, shit.
Well, it depends on the airline, usually, because there are some airlines that'll take the seats in any, like, given, like, either be an Airbus or Boeing or whatever, and they'll move them about half to an inch up or back to put in more rows eventually, because it just kind of, like, compounds, right? And so it just makes it even more, like, cramped. But with how long I've been flying, I think I've just gotten used to, like, space now, and I've just sort of forced myself to become comfortable with it. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, there is a some kind of video. No, I think it's from Portal, where one of the bots, when you pluck it from GLaDOS, just starts shouting, "Space! Space!" And some reason when you just said that, that's immediately what I thought.
Space, dude.
Space.
What
does it mean?
What have you been doing without me? How have you survived this far?
It was actually very hard, Nick. I had to think of you, I had to complain about you, I had to love you, I had to hate you. Oh man. The only way I was able to do it is copious amounts of video games and other activities, which included my first ever going to, like, a Major League Baseball game.
Nice. I'm not too well versed on, like, teams or, like, baseball as a sport, but who'd you go to see? Who's playing?
Well, I went to go cheer on the Detroit Tigers,
okay.
Which, Detroit, being Michigan and all that, makes sense. And they were facing I believe they're the Boston Red Sox.
Okay, that's a team that I know of. Okay.
I'm gonna say that's more Cam's area, technically, but yeah, it turns out the Detroit Lions, so, gosh, not the Lions, that's football, oof, gotta wash my tongue out. The Detroit Tigers, I thought they were this magical, all-powerful team that just, destroyed everybody, because, like, it's kind of like, in my head, a baseball team is like a spirit bomb, where the more people release their energy through their patriotism of the team, the better they do. So when I see the Detroit Tigers logos everywhere, everyone supporting them and all that stuff, I thought they were just going to be fantastically good. They're going to steamroll, and they got demolished, like, viciously. We were on their game 3 when we went to visit the day, and they lost the first 2 by, like, between, like, 5 and 8 points or something like that. It was bad for them.
Okay. So 2 questions for you. Do you regularly watch baseball?
Not at all.
Okay. So even as, like, a non-fan, how was the experience of being in, like, a stadium like that?
Going to the stadium was actually pretty good. The only issue I had was I got sunburnt.
Okay.
Yeah, hella sunburnt. Because we got out of the car, we were running a little bit behind, and I look at my dad looks at me, and she's like, we don't need suntan lotion. We'll be fine. It's only for a couple of hours. And then, 5 hours later, it was bad, man. It was bad. Oh, yeah. I think at the 3-hour mark, my dad and I realized that we were slowly cooking alive. My mom is too, and so is so my parents went with me.
Okay.
As well as my brother-in-law and his son, aka my nephew. So a total of 5 people. All of us are, like, liquid paper white. Like,
Okay, I'm sorry, I had to make you laugh.
No, we are fluorescent in the moonlight, white, like kind of things. Like, if somebody sees us in the moonlight, in a forest, we'd look like elves at that point. That's how white we are.
Uh-oh, here comes trouble. It's
The lady in charge of the school cafeteria.
Smart shopper. Squeezes bread to see if it's fresh.
Then she'll see why they call us the fresh guys.
Imagine, every loaf of Wonder is wrapped warm from the oven.
In this Stay Fresh wrapper.
No wonder we stay so fresh.
And pass the squeeze test.
Oh, that's smart.
Wonder Bread, one squeeze proves we're the fresh guys. Woo!
And so, making this a point, I'm also a third shifter who lives and dies by the nighttime. I don't get to see that much sunlight,
right,
as much as I'd prefer.
So it was just, you were thrown into the deep end, basically, in regards to sunlight exposure.
Nick, I am like the closest mortal equivalent of a vampire, and I got thrown in sunlight for 5 hours. Do you know what happens when you throw a vampire in sunlight for 5 hours?
You get a well-done steak with ketchup.
I was going to say, normally they turn the ash, but thankfully I didn't do that. But the 3 hour mark in, we realized that our names were written on the wall, that we were in trouble. And I just said to Dad, it's like, man, I wish we would have grabbed the suntan lotion. And lo and behold, a nice couple behind us is like, oh, you need suntan lotion? I got some right here. And it's like, I looked at her and I saw Gabriel, one of the chosen angels from, the New Testament. And it's like, oh my gosh. And, she handed it to us and we globbed it all. I was still screwed from the start, but it mitigated the damage a little bit. And I enjoyed the game itself. I got into it. I, had to get up and walk around a little bit just between endings just to stretch because, I wanted to get in the shade a little bit.
Yeah.
Turns out, my nephew's a little young. He's about 5-6 years old, and he didn't give two shits about baseball. And I had to pay full price for his ticket. And so it kind of broke my heart knowing that he was too young for this, and I didn't realize it.
Right.
And I was like,
it's a hit and miss sometimes.
That's $44. Come on. Get into the game. At least, pay attention. But no, And I picked seats at my dad's request in the area to catch a fly ball. Or in this case, it would have been a home run. None of the motherfuckers came our way. I was at this point, I was like, screw it. If the Red Sox throw me something, I'll take it gladly. I don't even care. Let them send it my way. And there were so many chances for things to happen. There was an outfielder. There was one ball that came into our area, and it's because one of the people in the outer field was practicing. He didn't catch the ball. Well, he did. Practicing, and before his time started in his outfield, he just tries to toss the ball at the children that are at the front row of this section. He's about 100 feet away. He's about 30 meters away. And he comes up about, about 5 meters or 15 feet short of the children. So he tosses it, and it just falls right in the grass in front of them. And there's a 10-foot drop from the stands. So these children are contemplating whether or not to do like essentially that horrific moment where a child jumps the pit in the zoo just to get this baseball. And the parents, as well as a lot of fans that saw this, you can imagine the hundreds of people that saw this guy trying to toss it to the children and coming up short, lost their minds. Holy smokes.
Oh, I would imagine. Yeah.
And so the guy, he feels terrible and he's kind of embarrassed. This is one of the Detroit Tigers, players. It's like, okay. And so he runs and tosses it in the field, and that's the only way we got a ball. There was a machine, Nick, that ran around the entire field, looked like a miniature monster truck that shot t-shirts. They covered at least 80% of that entire, ring of people firing t-shirts. And he skipped us. It's like, give us something. Come on. But I did get one thing out of it. I got one free thing. There's a little piece of paper that was in a cup holder. I was like, ooh. And I pulled it out and I was like, ooh. And it says, you're a winner. I'm like, ooh, yeah. And then I look around and I see that there's one of these papers like every 10 seats. I'm like, okay, I don't feel as good about this, but I'm still a winner of something. It's like, please redeem this over at this kiosk. And so my brother-in-law snatches one and I, have one. And so during one of the more boring endings, we go up and we find the kiosk. And there's this very friendly, hey, I'm going to sell you a timeshare looking fellow. So I immediately knew what was about to happen here. And so I go up to him. I'm like, hey, I'm a winner. What do I get? And he's like, congratulations. Here's this 5-cent beer cozy thing. And it's like, cool. I don't even have any use for this, but sure. It says Detroit, it has the D on it. It has the, the ye old D on it. I'm happy. And he's like, by the way, like he's getting ready to hook his little traps in on me. Don't you want to get a nice deal on the tickets on the next time the Detroit Tigers play? Like, this is the official person who's trying to,
Right.
These papers are for people who are schmucks, I realize immediately. He's given me something that's worth a nickel, and then telling me, I'm going to get a great deal by buying these tickets in advance. And I'm like, nope, I'm good. And that's the only thing I got out of it. I mean, I got good memories. The most notable thing is, before we even left my brother-in-law's house, my dad played catch with me. And I think my dad has done that once or twice in my life. And I know it's such a 1960s American stereotype. Father plays catch with the son, throwing baseball. That's how they bond as a child and, adult and all that stuff. But it actually had a heavy impact on me. It's like, wow, I can't throw.
I don't know what I was expecting there, but that was...
But you know what's important here, Nick?
Yeah.
My dad couldn't throw either. So
like father, like son.
Eventually, we sharpened our tools a little bit, and we started getting good balls, thrown at each other.
Oh my!
Don't take that out of context, please. But other than that, the next day I got super sunburnt. Like, my arms were completely toasted. Thankfully, I've returned to the albino sheep that sheep's already albino, so I guess
Are they?
the
Are they? Or is it just their wool that makes them, that cool?
True. I mean, the shiny version of a Mareep, I'm guessing, is probably... Well, no, I think a shiny Mareep is blue or some crap.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Anyways, I was sunburnt. I recovered. I had a good time with the baseball game. Nick,
yes.
Tell me about Florida, man. Tell me about Florida. Holy shit.
Fuck Florida weather, first of all. I don't know how anybody could live there.
What's the temperature there in Celcius?
It wasn't...
Oh, by the way,
yeah.
shiny Mareep,
Yeah.
pink wool, blue skin. I was right.
Yeah. Temperature-wise, it wasn't... Temperature-wise, it was maybe sitting about 40 Celsius.
40 Celsius? That sounds bad.
I'm pretty sure that's it might have been, or I could be making this up, but it felt worse because of the humidity. 40 Celsius is close to 90, or I think.
40 Celsius is 104 degrees Fahrenheit.
Close to 90.
I don't believe... Close to 90. Okay, sure.
No, then it was probably lower then. It just... Okay, it felt hot
Nick,
because, yeah.
That's like turning in a 5,000-word essay saying, 4,200 words, and you say, close enough.
I mean, it is close enough.
Sure. If you turn it in a paper format, do you think the professor is going to count it out? Probably not.
Well, that's why you add... That's why if they ask for double space, you write it in single space, but every alternate line you put it in white, so when it prints out, it looks like it's double space, but on the electronic version, it has double the amount of it has,
Oh, man, you smart motherfucker, you. Anyways, I'm guessing it was probably around 9 degrees, as you surmised, in Fahrenheit. It was probably also very humid, being Florida.
Like a million
which made
percent
it
humidity.
much worse.
But then the issue is, it's such a bipolar state with the weather.
With the weather, yes.
It'd be nice, not nice. It'd be bright, sunny, humid for 10 minutes, and then after that, tropical storm just comes rushing through. And so you're just sitting there in the rain, but it's still 1,000% humidity, and the rain's hot, and then there's a wind, but then it's blowing hot wind, and it's stupid. I don't know. I don't understand how people can live there.
Rain is supposed to cool you down, so
you would
rain
think
just feels like this horrible hot tub treatment shower. It's like, what's the point of this? You don't make me feel any better. This is worse.
Exactly.
This is worse.
And so on our last day when we went to Disney, something similar happened. So at Disney World in Orlando, being the biggest that it is, it has all these different parks, right? So one of the parks we went to was Epcot, because we had no interest in doing Magical Kingdom on Independence Weekend, especially with the lines. The moment we walked in, we saw the first line was a 90-minute wait. This was around 1 in the afternoon. We're like, nah,
I could totally see that too.
We're not doing that. We're gonna go drink. So, are you? I only learned about this, and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not like repeating myself. Are you aware of what Epcot is, or like how it's set up?
Not at all. Go ahead and explain it.
So Epcot, basically, you get a little lake in the middle that goes around in a circle. Then you have things built around the lake, themed after different parts of the world, so different countries.
So this is the around the world. So you can. I've heard of this where you can get different drinks from different countries, essentially.
And
that's Epcot. Okay.
Yeah. And so you go around and they have Japan, Norway, Germany, Morocco, Great Britain, France, Canada. They have USA. Obviously, they have USA. It didn't make sense to me, but of course they have USA. And guess what they were selling there? They were selling funnel cakes and beer. Like how much more American could you get than that?
Funnel cakes?
Yeah, and then they
What is that supposed to be an edible
Mexico?
like beer cozy? What's going on here?
Funnel cake is I'm pretty sure it's one of those. I think you'd find them more on like New York. It's you know it by a different name, but you just pipe like pastry dough into like hot oil, and then it just looks like, I don't know. It's a funnel cake. I can't explain it.
No, I know what a. Okay, I did. I'll admit, I got funnel cake mixed with angel cake.
Okay.
And second off, I've never heard of funnel cakes being like an American staple or something like that.
Well, I will say, like, as a non-North American, like learning about American like festivals and fairs and stuff, we hear a lot about funnel cakes.
Really?
Yeah, we hear a lot about funnel cakes. Like, we know it's like beer and like fast food and fried food and shit in general, but we hear a lot about funnel cakes for some reason. So I've never had one, but I know what they are.
I believe I had one as a child. I've never had one since I became a adult.
Okay.
Which is weird and sad. It's like, I like to embrace the American stereotypical culture at this point. I'm like, okay, Nick, from your point of view, what is probably the most stereotypical American food?
Fried anything.
Fried anything.
100%.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong then here.
No, fried, like, honestly, to me, it's fried anything. Like, stereotypical is McDonald's, just like a fucking sloppy, greasy Big Mac with fries and a huge ass drink when you paid for a medium, but they give you like a triple extra large. To me, that's the American stereotype. But I also think it's just fried anything. You know, you'll wrap meat in meat and fry it.
Speaking of McDonald's, did you hear about their around the world promotion here?
Yeah, they used to do something like that back home too. We used to get burgers themed from different parts of the world.
And do you know what Canada is right now?
Yeah, it's a tomato mozzarella burger that you can get either crispy or grilled. They've had that on the menu here for a while now. I personally like it.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had it and I'm just like, this tastes good. I don't know, like, if there's no maple in the chicken, so
I can't tell you what.
Like,
yeah, I don't know what connection it has to Canada. Specifically, maybe I couldn't tell you, but I enjoyed it. I'm partial to chicken sandwiches myself, so.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So they had all these different countries, and basically they had stores for like souvenirs, selling souvenirs from those countries, and also like other goods. Like you can buy clothes at some places, you could buy food stuff that you'd find in those countries, and then they had little stalls at each area that were selling beverages of alcohol of all kinds. Some had bars, some had restaurants, some even had areas for like live entertainment. For entertainment from that kind of country, which I thought was really cool. What I also thought was really cool was, and it's Disney, so I figured that they'd do this, but then it was just amazing to see it in person, was that everybody at each country was from that country.
Really?
Yeah.
So, like, they imported?
Essentially, but like, it was still pretty cool because you go to Germany and then you'd see actual German people there serving and, you know, working at the whatever. You'd go to Canada, you'd see actual Canadians. You go to the UK, you walk into the pub, they're actual British waiters, waitresses. You go to Japan and it's all Japanese people at the you know, the grills and the hibachi and stuff.
Now, this isn't one of those situations where it's like a Japanese steakhouse near me, but it's really owned and, you know, run by a bunch of Chinese people, correct?
Well, I mean, in this case, it is a Japanese, Egyptian, Moroccan, Mexican, American, Canadian, German establishments owned by Disney. So,
did you check their birth certificate, Nick?
The birth certificate of the establishment?
No, I'm just fucking with you. It's like I'm skeptical to believe this, but actually knowing Disney's like very, very OCD ways, I'm pretty sure that they probably did their own like wild background checks and whatnot to see it. That's actually a very cool idea.
Well, at least I would. We did talk to one guy at the Morocco, in Morocco, where he grew up in Texas, somewhere in Texas, I think. We were just chit-chatting with him for a little bit, but then I was going around Morocco speaking Arabic, or at least a little Arabic I know, with everybody. So that was really nice, honestly, just to feel like it was. It might have been a little bit over-exaggerated visually, but it did feel like nice to be like in a place that was kind of like home. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that either these are actors and actresses who are very good at. They probably have some, ethnic roots in whatever country that they're working at, but they're very good at putting on the accent, like, because it didn't seem, it all seemed authentic, and like I didn't walk in there like into any of the establishments and feel like, all right, this feels like it's for lack of a better word, appropriation. It doesn't feel like I'm being it's cheesy or it's kitschy or I'm being sold to. It feels, you'd walk into Germany and you'd see like a kind of pseudo beer garden. I'm like, this feels like, it feels like I'm in Germany.
It had the environment that made it feel authentic.
Yeah. And then there was a fireworks show at the end of the night, so that was really cool too. Apparently it cost Disney $100,000 to put that on every night in that one park, and they do it across all the parks. So, fucking Disney. What did happen though, so we got there around 1, 20 minutes into like our walkabout, a storm hit. And I'm talking about drenched from head to toe. Where my shoes felt like sponges on my feet. Like, that's how much I was just soaked entirely through. But our group that we went with, we spent $120 to get in, right? And so we didn't want to like leave, even though we were not having the most fun at that point.
I paid for this ticket. This ticket will protect me from this drench. I'll dry in 5 minutes. Let's keep going.
And then that's essentially kind of what happened. It was kind of amazing. Like, I was completely dry by the end of the evening. It cleared up. We met up with another group, and so we went drinking around the world twice. Yeah, no, Disney was fun. It was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, but I don't think I'd do that again, or at least regularly, or with kids.
You went around the world and drank twice. Wow.
Yeah.
That would take Jackie Chan 160 days, but you did it in 1. Good job, man.
Yeah, in a couple of hours. I know I talked a lot about Disney, but talking about the actual con itself, very quickly.
That's right. You went the Guardian Con, didn't you?
Yeah, it was, apart from getting to see my friends, I didn't really do much on the show floor this year. I went out, went to some of the art booths, had a lot of fun meeting people in the Destiny community that I've been interacting with for a long time. Made a bunch of new friends, met some friends that I've been playing with regularly. It was a fucking blast. What did I do? And I'll talk about this actually, but I did meet one of the developers that I talked about a few weeks ago, and played their game. It's called Littlewood. And then fucking Guardian Con, like, as a conference, as a convention, had so much shit going on. All the different panels, all the things they did. This year felt like the culmination of what they'd been working towards, because it is still a new convention. But this year, compared to last year, the convention center felt a little bit empty. Like, there was a lot of empty space, but there's still plenty of people. This year it was packed, from one end of the hall to the other. There was a long stretch of hallway that had easily 100+ different kinds of game stations set up, Tyler. I'm talking about nice. PS4s, Xbox Ones, Xbox 360s, the original Xbox, PS2, PS1, nice. Arcade machines. They had a Guitar Hero arcade machine. They had older consoles set up as well, and I'm talking about on CRT TVs as well. They had it all.
Did they have an Ouya?
I didn't actually go around and look. I doubt they might have had an Ouya. They didn't have it all. They had the good stuff, at least.
Okay, they had all the good stuff. There we go.
Yeah, that was put on by Texas Gamer Lounge, and they've done that for, I think, PAX and another convention. I can't remember. They did for one of the PAX, so that's pretty cool that they've worked with them. They have I will say, apart from meeting all the amazing streamers and content creators, I wanna say I feel bad for the hotel staff. Because this is kind of like a one-stop everything, right? You stay in the hotel, then it's like a 5-minute walk. You get to the convention center. You don't have to leave. There's restaurants on site. There's bars on site. They had no fucking idea what hit them. So they've had conventions there before. This is Rose and Shingle Creek. They've done the PGA Tour there, the golf, whatever, Masters was there recently. They've done other conventions before, but I don't think they've had people like us. That first night, it took 45 minutes to get a drink at anywhere you go. They weren't prepared. I don't think they had the staff for it because they're like, oh yeah, a convention, sure, we'll be fine. Yeah,
Nick.
Yeah.
This is my ignorance with Florida.
Yeah.
And it may sound a little racist.
Okay.
So get ready for this.
It's fine. You're American.
Do you know what the primary race would be around that hotel?
It was very mixed actually.
Bath salters.
What?
Bath salt.
Oh, okay.
Crazy people.
Yeah, okay.
That is a race.
Well, I mean, but not. I would guess not as much in Orlando. But I don't know too much about Orlando, so I'm not going to say anything there.
I'm going to say this with general ideas. 90% of all the clickbait news articles that involve in America or American come from Florida.
Yeah.
So the fact you're telling me that they see people dressed up like,
well, I mean,
Kate 6.
Yeah, but it is. Oh yeah,
crap.
that's true. That's true. I get where you're going with this now.
They're happy you're wearing something.
Yeah, that's true. But it was a good time regardless. I just think that hotel staff, they were friendly, they were amazing, but then, even the food, certain times of the day, you'd wait, 30, 40 minutes for your food. I think they were just, honestly, they were just not ready for this kind of crowd.
Understaffed at that point,
yeah. Yeah, it's just like they didn't have people on shift. And then, so I was there for another extra day after the convention. And then I noticed when the bars were empty that's when they had all the people. So I'm guessing what happened was there was a schedule made beforehand. They're like, yeah, we'll be fine. We don't need to call in Susan or Timmy. We're fine. And then weekend came and they're like, send in the big guys. And then everybody's there and they're like, there's nobody fucking here. Why are we here? We still get paid, right?
Oh gosh.
But it was a good time, and they've formed a partnership, and it's going to go on for the next 2 years at least, I'm pretty sure. The other main news before we move on to games, because we are a video game podcast, is they've rebranded from Guardian Con to GCX, gaming convention experience, I think, or expo.
I was just not the ADD on you.
No, that's fine.
I just imagined the John Travolta meme where he's just like, waving his hands around. I was like, where's all the people we're supposed to serve?
I mean, that's essentially what it was like. But yeah, they've rebranded. This year was insane because they had, Bungie come out and give out raid belts, like WWE belts, but for the raids and world first clears to all the teams that have done it since Destiny 1. And they had Big Show present.
Like the Big Show?
Yeah, like the Big Show.
The guy that does the motherfucking showstopper? The Big Show?
Yeah, no, he was there. He was on the floor this year. I don't give a shit because I don't care for wrestling, but I know about his stuff outside of like wrestling, and he's a good dude. But he was there. He plays Destiny, I'm pretty sure. That's why he was there. He was so excited to be there too.
No shit.
Yeah. So I mean,
Paul Donald White II, aka the Big Show, was fucking there.
Yeah. No.
Did he have the beard?
Yeah. He had the beard. He had everything. I see.
Did he have a big beard?
Yeah, he had a big beard.
Oh man.
A big beard only for the Big Show.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, during the wrestling days, he had to keep it short, but
And then I got to meet the voice actresses, voice actress for Maya from Borderlands, and the face of Angel from Borderlands, the actor who plays her. So that was pretty cool too. Yeah, like all in all, it was a great trip. I'm a little bit more energized now, but I've just come back to a fuckload of schoolwork to do. So that's GuardianCon. If anybody wants to talk to me about it or ask me about it, I hope somebody will. Please, we're desperate for correspondence. Just come find me or look at all the amazing pictures. Yeah. Do you have any questions before we move on, Tyler?
Nick, where can we support St. Jude's, the charity?
See, I can't even hit you. I can't even hit you with that link because they changed the thing, right? So hang on, let me just make sure. It is Gaming Community Expo. I'm pretty sure now.
It's so weird when you meet somebody. Sorry, I'm still like starstruck that you got to make eye contact or at least look at the Big Show.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I'm jealous, man. I am jealous.
Yeah, this year was big, and it's it's always going to be Guardian Con. So next year's Guardian Con 2020. They're already selling the tickets right now. It's going to be Guardian Con in my heart, but they are doing good things with a focus on not only charity but also on community, because there's a bigger push for indie developers to be there this year. Yeah, that's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so on Twitter, you'll now find them at GCX Event. The website is called gcxevent.com.
Simple enough, straight and to the point.
Yeah. So we are a video game podcast.
Yes, we are.
I've got a lot of catching up to do on a lot of things. But Tyler, tell me about a game you've been playing.
A game I've been playing?
Apparently, you've been playing this game a lot.
Maybe. Yes. Yeah? A little.
Just a little bit?
A lot.
Yeah.
So on Steam, it says that I played for 137 hours.
Okay.
In the 2 weeks, technically, since I started it.
How much of that was you in like your inventory or like on the title screen?
I would say about 24 hours.
Okay.
So 3, maybe 4 times. That means at the very least, Nick, I played at least 100 hours of this game in the past 2 weeks.
Welcome to the dark side, friend.
I've been playing a lot of motherfucking Stardew Valley. A lot, Nick.
Yeah.
I went from not understanding what's going on, I'm just gonna do what makes me happy, to kegs, sheds. I am wholly addicted. Bad. Like, this is World of Warcraft scary. I haven't called in sick from work yet.
The operative word being yet there.
It's scary how much time I've put in playing this game, Nick.
Yeah.
I'm currently in winter of year 2 right now.
Okay.
All those things where I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to be able to do this in time. I've completed everything I could possibly, well, not everything. I've done so much, such as completing the community center and all that stuff and whatnot, that by the end of the year, when I finish winter this year, Grandpa will shine on me and give me that statue. I looked it up. I understand what I needed. Yeah. I have it. I did get that greenhouse by the winter of year 1, and I'm going down the route to where I'm making butt fuck tons, and that is a metric unit in this case, of money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what to do with it at this point. And during winter, I'm still making wine and all that stuff, using all the fruit and stuff I'm collecting. My only thing I can think of doing during winter is going down in the Skull Caverns to get iridium, so I can make chrysallariums, so I can mass produce diamonds. Because I have all the sprinklers I could possibly want iridium already. I have all the tools upgraded already. Nick, I seriously don't know what I'm supposed to do at this point besides make more money. Like, this is Spaceballs the movie, the quest to make more money.
Did you get your galaxy sword?
Nick, I got like 6 of those prismatic shards sitting in the chest. Of course I got the damn sword.
I
had so
love
many
that game,
prismatic shards that I sold one and then donated one, Nick. Like, they keep raining me with fortunes and whatnot, but at this point, I got a garden that is about 80% of my, like, I'm growing about 750 crops this season.
Do you have a dinosaur yet?
I don't have a dinosaur. How do you get a dinosaur, Nick? Don't do this to me, Nick. Nick, please stop. Why did you do this? You have me mildly interested, Nick. No, please stop. How hard is it to get the dinosaur, Nick?
It's all RNG. You basically, you have to find a dinosaur egg and you just put it in the incubator.
How do you find a dinosaur egg, Nick?
How I got it, I don't know if it's the only way, but just by digging where the worms are. It's RNG.
Oh, like, okay, the ancient artifact spots. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. You'll get like an ancient egg or something, and then you can either donate it, or you can put it in the incubator, or you could sell it.
Absolutely. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's something easy I can see and do.
Yeah.
It's so weird because during like the first year and then the first half of the second year, I had to do this weird transition of like I gotta balance out how much wood I plant and all the trees I plant so I can get wood when I mine, when I need to get copper, when I need to get iron and all that stuff. I got a section of trees for the oak resin to make the kegs. To suddenly, I'm making fucking money. I don't need to go mining for this shit. Daddy Warbucks over here can buy his own iron ore now. And so it's turned into the point where I make money so I can get the ore to make more kegs and whatnot so I can make yet more money. And I'm making so many crops that I'm keeping up with this pace. The only thing that's thrown me back at this point is the oak resin. I can't buy oak resin. I can't throw money at these trees to produce more oak resin.
You just have to wait.
So I have to wait, and I need to double my oak resin supply.
Right.
Because I got hundreds upon hundreds of each of the materials I need except for the oak resin. So if that's what's holding me back, then why would I not, plant more oak trees at this point?
Well, I mean, you can also go tap the trees outside of your farm.
That is also true. Problem is, though, I'm guessing there's about 30 trees, let's say, out in the wild that, well, okay, let's say 50 oak trees out in the wild. That's fair, right?
Sure.
I'm currently at like 60 trees in the farm right now, Nick. So, I mean, that would double that, but A, I would have to walk around the entire town every time I know they're up. Or I could plant another 100 and just go full in.
Well, I mean, yeah, you
Lorax
also have
this
your
shit.
horse, remember? You can just go around really quick, zoom.
Yeah, like, I don't have a horse yet.
Ah, you don't have a horse
I
yet.
know, right?
Who are
I
you
don't have a horse
romancing?
yet. I have very, very romanced the hell out of Abigail.
Abigail?
We now have a child.
Really?
Yep. She's married to me. She's only threatened the divorce once.
Good choice.
And I know, right? Thank you. And we do have a child named Lucy.
Okay.
So
Did you get the max
everything's
biggest house too? I would imagine if you're going for kegs, you're at least close to getting the cellar.
Oh yeah, I got the cask as well. So
Okay,
I
nice.
got the 108 cask underground ready.
Right, yeah, you were asking me about casks. Yeah. Did you see the optimal layout and stuff?
Yes,
Yeah.
I've gone like min-maxing everything, Nick. Like right now, I have ancient fruit growing in the greenhouse because
Okay.
that's the best stuff I can grow that's consistent. So I got that pumping into my kegs to turn into wine, which I'm keeping under the cellar. That way I can get max profits out of that. Meanwhile, I have so much cranberries up my ass, I don't know what to do with them besides obviously throwing in more kegs because I want money. And I'm waiting for summer next year because year 2 for starfruit takes 13 days to grow.
Yep.
There's 28 days in the year.
Yep, so you can get 2 harvests at least.
Normally, yes. My problem is, A, I can't plant that much and water them all in the same night. I can't plant all of them in the same night. And so if I got to plant part of them on year 2, that ruins the cycle. Or so I thought. Big Brain Tyler over here discovered that there's a little something called Deluxe Speed Grow.
Yep.
And so next year, year 3 during the summer, I'm going to have this, Deluxe Grow. And it's going to knock off like 4 days on each one of them.
So you should be able to get in 3 harvests.
Well, at least 3 days. Like I can totally, get 4, just giant batches of starfruit. I'm so excited for that, Nick.
Have you had any mushroom trees yet?
Mushroom trees?
Yeah.
Are you
There is
speaking in tongues? What the fuck?
so there is a random chance that you'd wake up one day and you'll see some, if not all of your trees have been turned into like giant mushrooms. And you can cut them down. I can't remember what they give you. But that's a random event that happens. There are meteorites that can land. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that. It's kind of upsetting, actually. I haven't had a meteorite land. I haven't seen any special events. I haven't even had a void chicken yet.
Oh, I think I have a void chicken on my master save file.
And it's so weird because I would think that I would at least get one random event, but I haven't gotten anything.
Right. Did you build the
And so-
slime hutch? Oh, I can't remember what it's called.
I know what you're talking about, like the slime construction building.
Yeah.
No, I haven't because I don't know what it's for, and therefore I don't see any use for it.
That's
Does it
fair.
make me money, Nick?
I mean, you're already swimming in money. You could just do whatever you want at this point.
I mean, I could make more money, Nick.
I mean, you could max level everything.
And to put it in perspective, I don't have a lot of money since I'm always putting it right back in, but I have a high rate of money that increases exponentially once I'm out of winter.
Right.
Right now, I'm coasting through. I'm trying to get more iridium. So I can
Oh,
get
right.
more
Yeah, it is winter.
crystallarians.
Yeah.
So, I'm currently in a standstill. I'm coasting through it. I'm hoping I got enough cranberries because I may have accidentally just opened up another shed with 67 more kegs. So I don't know how that's going to, impact my surplus.
Right.
It's so wild, Nick. But yeah, I played a lot of Stardew Valley.
Well,
I'll keep you updated.
go find the legendary fish.
I could do that.
Yeah,
That's
I
something
really like
actually-
fishing. I love the fishing in Stardew Valley. It's one of my favorites.
I'm level 10 in every skill. Like fishing was my first 10.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's a
I
it's a
loved it.
fantastic thing in the game. Honestly, I think it's one of the few games that I can enjoy just standing there and fishing for hours.
It stinks because money-wise at this point for me, where I'm at, it's terrible. But
Yeah.
fishing is just so peaceful. like at this point, I wouldn't fish for money. I would just fish because it's a fun little mini game. Only need to use the mouse. Don't have to do anything else. Just relax, enjoy yourself.
Well, I'll leave you with this. Go find the witch if you haven't already.
I currently in the side quest where I need to talk with Krobus, I believe, the guy in the sewer, who has the magic ink to get past that stuff. I haven't gotten any further than that, so I have no idea where that's going to take me.
Okay.
So Amanda's trying to give me great information by saying you can also tap the mushroom trees for more mushrooms.
Right, that's what you could do. I was trying to remember what you could do, and yeah, that's tapping the mushroom trees gets you more mushrooms.
But enough about Stardew Valley, Nick.
Yep.
Sounds like you might have tried a new game.
Yes, Littlewood, as I mentioned earlier. This is a game from a Orlando-based developer. His name is Sean Young. It is currently in early access on Steam. It is $15. I bit the bullet. I bought it. I've put about 5-ish hours into it since I got back.
Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah, those are rookie numbers, but you don't have to write 2-3 essays, so...
Oh, I apologize, sir.
Yeah, I haven't done much gaming this week, but so I wanted to focus on something new at least. And I like it. It's an interesting little game. It's a little 8 pixel. I was gonna say 8 pixel because I was thinking of 8-bit pixely game.
Nice, Nick. You crushing the Monka Pogs.
So shut the fuck up, dude.
Hey, old man, let me see what I want.
Think of it like what did they say? It's a game I had never played. I can't remember. Animal Crossing meets kind of like Stardew Valley, where you're this great hero who lost his memory. Plot simple enough. You wake up in this little shack in a section of the woods, and now you're tasked with rebuilding the town. So you go around collecting material, just put up houses, and then you get blueprints from whatever villagers come in. New villagers come in, you want to convince them to stay. You get more blueprints. You just go around building and collecting things. It's a very relaxing game. It has an energy level thing that expends based on action, but there's no time like in Stardew Valley, so you can just walk around the whole day if you wanted.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting concept. They're still working on a lot of the in like seasonal events for each season and stuff, but it does go 28 days a season. You can grow things, plant trees. You can build up, so you can elevate things as much as you want. You can remove ground as much as you want until you're left with the lake. So if you want, you can build yourself a mountain and put your house at the top of it. It does give you a lot of freedom that way. Yeah, I don't know what more I could say about the game except I'm having fun. Go check it out, Littlewood. Go look at the trailers. It is a very
you said it's $15 on Steam, right?
Something like that. Yeah, I paid
Canadian
17 I paid 17 Canadian.
Ah, okay, that's fair.
So I think it is 14 US or something. It is going to come out on the Switch soon. I was talking to the developer, Mr. Young. He did say that they had plans in about 5 or 6 months to put it out on the Switch. They have been approved for it to be on the Switch. So it's just about getting a working version for it.
So it looks like the game has been out for a month already. And I've seen somebody play this game before, I just realized. Yes, I was watching somebody. I was thrown off because I was looking at them playing Stardew Valley, but they were not playing Stardew Valley. I thought it was a arcade game for Stardew Valley because it looks so similar.
Yeah, it is a lot more simplified, but there's so many, they have different skills, and you level up those skills by getting experience, as you would in an RPG, except the level cap, I believe, is 100 for all of them. Right, so you've got mining, wood cutting, gathering, bug catching, fishing, merchantry, because you can open up like a thing and like a little marketplace and sell whatever shit that you find in the world. Then you can form relationships with each and every one of the villagers that comes and joins your thing. And once you get up to a certain level, you can start dating them, and I think you can take it up to marriage. I haven't gotten that far yet. There's at least one event a week I've found so far, and a lot of them right now are unfinished. but he has marked down ideas and like names and stuff for them. So that was pretty cool. There are different areas, different worlds that you can go to, and I would imagine as more content comes out, there are more worlds that you can explore. So it's like let's say it's a little 64 by 64 map, right, that you're given. You can take a little airship that'll take you to the Endless Forest, where from there you can go into one map that's procedurally generated for you, and you can go around, cut wood, and collect whatever items. You can do the same with, I think it's called the Dust Caverns, and then you can go down and you can go mine, and then you also have a port city you can visit where you can go find unique traders selling different things that you wouldn't normally find, or resources that you might need. Yeah, it's super, it's very interesting because I've gotten very much like absorbed into it, very much like Stardew Valley, but it hasn't made me like think or like want to be efficient like Stardew Valley has. Because when I first started playing Stardew Valley, like you've communicated the same sentiment. Like you're just kind of like, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll just do this. I'll just fish. Maybe I'll just focus on cutting whatever. After my on my second on my second save file, I was like, all right, this is what I need to do to get optimal growing time. Like on day one, I'm like, all right, I need to plant these parsnip seeds now so that I can go immediately get all this wood so I can build the bridge, so that I can start planning out the barn, and then make sure that I've got silos ready but by the end of this month, so that I can afford so I can afford a fruit tree. And then
I'm gonna put every keg I can think of in the quarry to fill it up, that we can have 200 extra kegs over there. I am going to put 80 different fruit trees, for each season over in Pelican Town, because I can fucking do that, and that's the way I want it. I'm gonna make some money. Can you imagine? I'm gonna start the save file naming the ID of a diamond. That way, there's a glitch. Whenever I talk to somebody and they say my name, it gives me a diamond. So by day 2, I'm gonna have $220,000 because I had somebody go, say my name, give me a fucking diamond, because my name's the ID. Fun fact, that's actually true.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Please.
Also,
Please. I have not played it as much as you have apparently now, but I know still.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. 123 clap teacher.
Yeah, no, I had fun with it. It was nice to meet Sean. I didn't get a chance to talk to him because or at least for a long time, because we had to go off and do things. Yeah, that's Littlewood. I would encourage, if you're just looking for like a kickback kind of chill, because it is very well optimized for a controller. There's only like 2 or 3 action buttons. So it's like this was an Xbox controller. So A or X is like select, right? B or like circle is either cancel, or when you press it up when you don't have anything up, it opens up your inventory or your menu.
Now,
and then you've got the R1 for run, sprint.
You're enjoying this on the PC. Do you think it would have been more fun if you had it on the Switch?
I think that wouldn't make a difference. It depends on your like gamer lifestyle. If you're a portable gamer, I think it would be fun on the Switch to have as like on the go as pastime.
Boy. That is a touchstone to step on right there, Nick.
You're a portable gamers are gamer. If you're carrying
No, I'm not talking. It's just with our topic of the show, essentially.
Oh right, I wasn't even thinking about that.
No, I'm not trying to insult people who play games on the go, Nick.
God damn
I do it every
Tyler,
time I'm in the passenger
fans.
seat.
We're trying to keep them.
Oh yeah, we're gonna lose. You want to lose fans? Let's talk political.
Okay, let's not do that.
So, Nick, marijuana use. Tell me about it.
I mean, I could. It's legal here. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So that's Littlewood. I'd encourage anybody to go check it out. It is early access, but for an indie dev, I think that's kind of needed. I've never been a fan of early access games for AAA titles or AAA publishers or publishers that have funds, but for a dev that doesn't have the funds and it's a game that they want to make work with the community, stuff like this, I'm usually okay with giving them, buying into the early access idea.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. Let's see how it turns out, because I think he has a chance, and it does look promising. I was allured by it, and clearly you are too.
Yeah, especially if it was one of the first things I did when I got home. I immediately bought it and downloaded it, and I'm like, all right, cool. And it's a small game, too. It's like 190 megabytes or something.
Wow, there's only one other game that's fantastically good that's about that size.
Yep.
The best
Stardew
game
Valley.
of all time. The fuck you just say?
Nothing. What'd you say? What are you talking about?
I was talking about Terraria.
Alright, so moving on. We here at Casual Master Quest like to
Are in a very terrible position here because wait, I gotta ask myself a tough question right now. I just realized this.
Terraria versus Stardew Valley.
Oh shit, son. What game do I enjoy more? If I had to vouch a game to somebody to play on, the PC or on the Switch, I mean, it might actually affect, the decision depending on what platform. Do I enjoy Stardew Valley or Terraria more?
Well, I would imagine you have considerably more hours on Terraria than you do have on Stardew Valley. But the fact that you have 100 hours on Stardew Valley means that you're able to at least come up with some sort of
Yeah, I got
argument.
thoughts.
How many? 1,500
What do you mean?
on Terraria.
Oh, Terraria, I'm only just a little bit under 800.
Okay.
So, a couple hours.
Yeah, so like the amount of time you have in Terraria does overshadow the amount of time you have in Stardew Valley, but it's not like you have, 10 hours on Stardew, so you're like, this game's garbage. So, if you
It
were to
sucks. Burn it to the ground. 7 out of 10.
Let's we'll do this. I'll let you muse over this for the week, and then we'll come back to it next week, and then we'll have like a full-blown Terraria versus Stardew Valley debate.
Oh my gosh, are you seriously going to make me do this? Because I was not going to answer the question right here.
You're not answering the question right here. You're answering the question next week.
Fantastic. We'll see what happens. It's like asking me Horizon Zero Dawn versus Breath of the Wild. I'm not answering that.
Yeah, and
I'm
all right.
not answering
All right.
that question.
You've answered that in confidence, I'll tell you that much.
I'm not answering that question.
All right, fair.
Nick,
Fair.
Modular segment. Master host. You look great today.
Thank you. So do you.
That was a coffee mug. Who are you supporting today?
I am supporting the Vancouver Aquarium. So for our audio listeners, I am holding up a coffee mug that I bought from the Vancouver Aquarium with an octopus on it, because octopus are tight.
Especially the single octopus that they had.
Which I'd never seen until our visit to the Vancouver Aquarium.
The power of Casual Master Quest summoned that motherfucker from its cove.
Kraken
And
had
then
been
it just
released.
completely was like, hey, I was here all the time. What are you guys talking about? I always come out. It was like completely chill. Like it went from like, I'm hiding forever to sup.
So, as I was saying before, here, especially when I take over the show notes, I like to bring a little bit more of a look into like shit that's going on in the industry. And over the last few months, we've had things happen with content creators, professional players, and organizations in regards to contracts specifically. I do not want to name any names, just because it's not a discussion about the people. Oh yeah, no, I'm 100% sure, especially because there was a recent debate that sparked up, and I just really don't want to get any names because it's not about the people. It's about, at least this conversation that I wanted to have is more about the ethics of it.
Well, the problem is, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
what is
so-
all the shit that's going on between nondescript streamers / pro players and organizations?
So, basically, long story short, you have a, 18, 19-year-old streamer at the peak of his performance in whatever game you like, whatever competitive shooter game. Peak of his performance, he's a streamer, getting, all the attention, whatever. And then you're an organization, you're like, this kid looks like he'd be fun to pick up. It'd be good to pick up, it'd be good for us, it'd be good for him. We can work together, we can, form whatever brand identity, he can do good things for us, he can become a flagship person, and then we can grow as a team. Let's give him a contract, and then as a 19-year-old, you're making all of this money, right? Let's say, this is all speculatory. Let's say you're pulling in $20,000 a month, right? You're 19-year-old, you're pulling in $20,000 a month. You get handed a contract that promises you more. Without any prior knowledge of business practices, you're just a kid who's playing games. How much of that contract would you read? Or how would you know that you'd have to read all of that contract?
Oh, I mean, I would read all of it. Whether or not I would understand like all the stipulations and whatnot would be a different thing. Like,
Right.
That would be absolutely need to get a lawyer to parse through that kind of stuff.
Right.
But as a 19-year-old, I'd probably be like, I see a bigger number, therefore I sign it.
Yeah.
I have no idea though.
Yeah, like
So-
even going younger, because this has happened with 16 and 17-year-olds as well. Like, especially if you do things on such a public platform, and if all you're thinking about, sure, you're having fun streaming, making content, making connections, but now this pro organization's approached you with this offer with more money when you're already pulling in all this money, and maybe you have beer goggles. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe you just you choose not to see parts of the contract that could be potentially harming in the future.
Yeah, I can see it.
So now you have people, a lot of these professional players, streamers coming out saying, all right, listen, the contract was garbage. These people have tried to, screw me over. They're taking whatever money. And then the organizations are like, you signed the contract. You knew what you were signing. But then going back and forth between whether the contract was legally binding or whether some of it was could potentially be an issue in the future, because the issue is that not a lot of these organizations are, at least from my understanding, depending on the state as well, not a lot of these organizations are recognized as official organizations in some cases. And so some of the contracts are not, or at least some of the terms in the contract can be binding, and some of it can't be binding. So basically, like, everything that's been happening has changed the way that organizations are signing on people and making sure that people are reading their contracts, and also organizations ensure that they're not setting themselves up for failure in the future, or at least for scandal. And I'm wondering what kind of effect this is going to, like, splash back onto the gaming industry as a whole.
The gaming industry, okay,
because it is not a far cry from the truth to state that
influencers in the similar boat, maybe.
Yeah, like I
can see that.
That's what streamers are, essentially, right?
I mean, honestly, most people know that people who are trying to make it big on Twitch and all that stuff, they only have so many years before they either get burnt out from playing the game or they just they lose track. I mean, when you think of like big name League of Legends players, like the big one I think of is like I'm a Cutie Pie. He was well known back in the day. He's still a fantastic League of Legends player, and he still pulls the numbers, but he's slowly falling away from being that number one most viewed person on Twitch kind of thing. And then, of course, there's people like Tyler One and all that stuff that came up, and it's an old flame thing. So when you see the trend on the graph of it starting to go down, but then you see like somebody offering a pick me up of sorts, and you're thinking, this is my second wave, I'm going to ride it. Or maybe you're at the top and you're worried that you're going to plateau. I can see why people would make the jump, but at the same time, these companies are not here for your benefit. They're here to make money. And so you're just as likely to run a risk of, falling apart by yourself as you are with this company. But the company is more than happy to, screw you over if it means saving them, some money here. I'm sure there's some companies that are, that try to do right by their influencers for obvious reasons, because if they screw the influencer over, then they're going to, rebel and say a lot of nasty shit. But I don't really hear a lot of, very reputable, goody two-shoe companies that are using influencers in the first place. I mean, not to, throw any shade at, certain Microsoft, based video game companies or anything like that. Or, say something like EA. But honestly, at that point, you're just a salaryman under the developer title. So, you've given up your individualism the moment you sign up to something like that. So, I mean, it's a change of pace and people just don't realize it.
That's fair. And I think also a part of the issue is because orgs like to sign generally younger players, or at least like to start with them so that they can build a long-term relationship with them, keep them on around just in case of the chance that they do get, super mega big and stuff, and so that they can profit long-term, both parties at least. I think part of the issue is that we're not being educated on legal ethics, or at least the basic do's and don'ts, right? So
we are, just by the wrong people.
That's fair. That's a fair point too. because when you look at some of these people, they're like, hell yeah, like, I'll sign. You're gonna give me $1 million a year just to keep doing this. All right, I'll sign. And then, you know, this is probably gonna get us close to me naming names, and then all of a sudden you find a clause a few years later that they're taking 80% of your winnings. Yeah, it's just, I thought about it and I'm like, this is probably, at least the public negative backlash, it's probably going to push us towards thinking more about workers in the game industry in general. Be it whether you're a content creator, whether you're working as a developer, because video games have risen to be the most profitable entertainment industry in the last 2 or 3 years. And people need to be protected, I think, at least.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether we'll ever get to a point where we don't have to worry about a shitty studio, or at least a greedy studio, shutting down or skimming off their workers.
What? No, that's never happened, Nick. I still think of Dead Space every fucking day.
Dead Space was a
That's so
telltale
good.
sign that the end's coming.
I mean, I'd say
That was a
there was
forced
a bunch
joke.
of other companies that say it.
Forced joke. Fuck, I'm blanking now. There was something I was gonna say. Like,
Nick
yeah,
is whole,
oh yeah.
Nick.
Bungie. So with Bungie, there was a couple of weeks ago, there was a gun that they buffed, but they didn't realize that buffing it would cause it to be one of the most broken weapons in the game. And then they said, "Listen, we know it's broken, but we already have a patch in the incoming patch in the pipeline. For us to take that patch out and put more man hours into fixing this gun in this current patch would cause us to what did they say? Go into crunch time that they wanted to avoid, with Shadow keep coming up because they already had their departments busy. They're like, you're just gonna have to live with it for a little bit. And so we're kind of seeing that transparency now from a lot of the developers, where they're like, listen, we don't want to put any more crunch time. Even if they're doing it for a selfish reason, even if they're like, we don't want to put people under crunch time because we just don't want to look like bad guys, I still think that's a good thing. In the short term, at least.
Honestly, I wouldn't trust any of these new... It just sucks because I have this weird mentality that a lot of those new upstart companies or whatnot that are trying to make new business ventures in any kind of bubble like this are the kind of people that are more than happy to step on toes just to get what they want, because, you know, it's like, it's a dog-eat-dog world. We got to make our place and, you know, settle down before everybody gets in on it. And I don't know, just the idea, the way you describe the contract with that information doesn't even sound like a contract. It sounds like either a pure scam or just an insurance policy that would have paid out if he didn't do so hot.
And that's bottom line. I'm not here to sit and point fingers, but with contracts and stuff, please, no matter how old you are, just read your contracts. Make sure you know who you're working with. Yeah.
Nick, they're over 18. They're legally adults, especially if it's in the United States. I'm not saying that they are idiots, because let's be real, anybody, including us, you know, when we were 18, 19 years old, we were fucking morons.
It's like, you know, living with that, owning up to the responsibility or like consequences of your actions, that's one thing too, but at least my like parting advice for this is just, please try and read your contracts, even if nobody's told you beforehand. Read your contract, start to bottom.
I mean, high school, like the things they try to train us for real life and whatnot. The DARE program, you know, drug abuse resistance, that failed miserably because it was
that probably pushed more people into it.
It did. It literally did. I'm not kidding. Statistically, it was shown. Thank you, Adam Conover and Adam Ruins Everything, for teaching me this one. It actually helped people by providing information about drugs that made them feel better than just marijuana. Whoops. You know, like sex education, aka teaching us abstinence and whatnot. There is no high school class or whatnot that taught us how to handle very interested businessmen that come onto you saying, hey, I'll give you money if you'll do this for me. There's no warning signs. Stranger danger is not going to work for something like this. So they're young and dumb, and they just see numbers in front of them, and they're going to jump on it.
Yep.
And I feel bad, but we're not ever trained for something like that.
No, we're not. And that was my sentiment too. But yeah, be careful. It's a rough world out there.
Yes. To the people who are making $20,000 a month and are getting propositions by those evil bad guy company groups, listen to us.
Yeah, we know everything.
We're mid-20 years old.
All right, so that was a little bit
Decorated veterans of the 18-year-old society.
That was a little bit of a serious conversation there, kind of.
Oh, okay. Whoops. I goofed up there.
No, it's okay. You're fine, Tyler. I'm just moving us on into the topic of the show. And this week, we're going to talk about the Nintendo Lite. Tyler, the Nintendo Switch Lite. My apologies. It's not the Nintendo Lite. It's not a
but it
subsidiary
has a
of
backlight.
Nintendo.
Why does it need another Switch Lite?
Tyler, do you want to tell us about the Switch Lite?
Absolutely. Before we continue, I want to say that in the show notes there are two major links. One is for the Nintendo site that showcases the Switch Lite, and then there's one by CNET, headlined by Scott Stein, which I'd like to thank. I'm a big fan of CNET. I know not personally, obviously, Jeff Bacalar, who is a well-known author for articles about technology, about stuff like this. But Scott Stein, I like to say Stein. It's Stein. My point is, I am not going to trust a fucking thing that's shown on the Nintendo website. When I see a diversity of happy people smiling and stuff like that, and somebody throwing it right into the side bag without any kind of protection, I don't trust any of this shit.
Yeah, there were
So
more
I'm gonna
pictures
skip
than
that.
words. Yeah, I just put that up there just to, like, in case you were curious and you wanted to, like, actually try and pre-order. Is it even available for pre-order yet?
I don't know. I don't think
Let me just check the site here.
I mean, it's probably on Amazon with like some stockholder image right now that they'll eventually convert to that.
Pre-order is coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So,
take us away, Tyler.
For those who don't know, Nintendo kind of mentioned something like this over the past couple of weeks, and it's finally taken a proper fruition. It is called the Nintendo Switch Lite. For those who don't know, Nintendo Switch Lite is supposed to be I like to call it the final death knell of the 3DS, because the Switch couldn't do that. Switch buried it, but the Switch Lite gets to, throw in the dirt, gives in that last shuffle out of respect. God bless him. But yes, the Nintendo Switch Lite is going to be $100 cheaper, people. Nintendo Switch is usually $300. This one's $200. So it's like a good, inexpensive way to get your hands on those Nintendo games that you know and love. But Nick, there's a couple of caveats. A couple of ones that I'd like to, bring into a lot of question here.
Oh, tell us about it.
So, it comes with two Joy-Cons that you can't remove.
Okay.
You can't plug it into the TV. It's handheld only. No rumble. What's up with that?
Okay. Before you carry on, I just want to point out one thing.
Yeah.
So the Nintendo Switch, if you buy it like the original Nintendo Switch, if you buy it with the dock, it is $300, $350, something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
300 for us.
The dock alone is $75 US.
So let's put that down to $225 for the Nintendo Switch. Under that logic. It's bullshit logic, but I totally understand where you're going with here.
So, just taking away the dock, the Nintendo Switch on its own versus the Nintendo Switch Lite, there's a $25 price difference. For, in my opinion, substantially less performance.
Let me adjust my flashing glasses here. But what happens if you want a more compact and solid design? Don't you want a screen that's smaller when you're, handheld on the go? When I was on the airplane, I certainly would, I would like to have a little bit smaller. They're also arguing that maybe the battery will last longer because it's using less power. Nick doesn't know what to say to this. Okay, what are your thoughts? Do you like the Nintendo Switch Lite or no?
From initial impression, honestly, I thought it was a pretty cool idea. Because I thought it was a cool idea, but all I could think of was the PSP.
Oh God! Why would you utter those things? I mean, no, you said PSP. Okay.
Yeah.
If you said something else, I'd be like, blasphemy! Get that filthy trash words out of this house.
But no, seriously,
not
it
in the
did
house
remind
of
me
Nintendo
of a PSP.
Lord.
And I think this would have been a good move, and it might still be. I think this would have been a good move if we had a Switch 2 coming out.
A Switch 2? Serious?
Yes.
Are you serious? No, I'm Harry, Ron. Are you tough?
No, okay, so apart from the resolution, ensure that there's manually adjusted lighting. There's no auto adjust brightness like the Switch. So the Switch Lite doesn't have auto adjusting brightness. You have to manually change the brightness settings, much like a 3DS or the DS. It is, in my mind, a spiritual successor to the 3DS. As you said, it is the final nail in the coffin. I think that this would have been a good idea, or a better idea, if like they put out like how Apple does. You have the iPhone 8 and you have the iPhone 8 Plus, right?
Like
so
a Switch Pro or something.
Yeah. So you'd have the Switch 2 and then you'd have the Switch Lite. Where the Switch 2 would be a lot more powerful. It can be whatever the Switch does now is just a hardware upgrade. And then you have the Switch Lite, because apart from the screen size, I think you're just getting marginally less performance from what I understand here. And you just can't plug it in anywhere.
It's USB-C only. There's so much stuff about this that's being cut out that freaks me the heck out. Okay, so you can attach more Joy-Cons to it if you want to. But I don't know how you're going to hold it up because it doesn't even have a kickstand. So make sure you get yourself a Hori stand, which, that's not going to be absolutely free. It does come with this cord. Bless. What's up, Nick?
Are we talking about the Switch Lite and the Joy-Cons?
Yes, the Switch Lite. You can add more Joy-Cons to it.
Oh, you can add more. Okay, you're talking about more Joy-Cons. Sorry. Like, to me, I'm like, wait, what are you putting it on a stand for, and you're just going to hold it like a racing wheel?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to play like Mario Kart or something with your friends, right, you're not going to be able to use the Joy-Con. But there's no kickstand. It does have extra vents on the top, and that's good technically. But it's strictly handheld. It has a 5.5-inch screen versus the 6.2 that we're used to. So we are going from the Vita, I said the words, to the PSP in this version. It's going to be smaller. It's going to be more compact. There is a little bit of concern because if the Joy-Con is, if one of them becomes defunct for whatever reason, you are screwed. Like, super screwed.
But, which is a valid concern, but how many how do I phrase this? How many hardware issues have people had with Nintendo products in general?
I mean, lately, especially when the Switch came out, a lot. Do you not remember all the issues with the left Joy-Con?
Okay, no.
A lot of them went defunct, and even Brandon and Nick, I believe, also had problems with this.
Okay, no, I did not know about the... Because all I could think about is, with how long my 3DS, my DS lasted with no issues, with Nintendo's design philosophy, because I remember watching a documentary a couple of years ago, or like a mini doc or something, where the idea behind their products, when they design their products, is that they're designing it with kids in mind. So they want to be able to drop it from wherever, usually, and not have it break after just one or two falls.
I mean, you say that, and I had a 2DS, and it fell from my hands onto a cement floor and just completely destroyed the system in one hit.
Yeah, but how much faith did Nintendo really have in the 2DS?
Okay, so you're completely backpedaling on the doorstop. Okay, I see where that's going.
Listen,
Great.
I don't know what you're talking about. All I'm saying is, I don't know. I think I'm okay with this. It's not like I'm upset by this because I did do quite a bit of. I should add that on the list, but I was playing quite a few games while I was flying, actually. And
I'm gonna say, what about the 3DS with Super Smash Bros. When people were using the thumbsticks and they just got ripped right off because they used
never
it too
had
much.
that experience.
And Nick in the chat is saying that the 3DS had a lot of issues with the L and R buttons breaking. You never had that issue. So since you never had that issue, your logic is Nintendo's products must be the finest quality because they have children in mind. Therefore, they would very rarely break. Okay, that's fair. I mean, there's also been incredible stories where somebody had a truck run over a cartridge of like Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64, and they popped it in and it still worked.
That's amazing. Nintendo, ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause.
We're also going to ignore the whole time, Nintendo 64 controller back in the day where, like, after a year, it became increasingly rare to find a 64 controller where the thumbstick wasn't like laying over to the left or whatnot because the spring that held it in place like gave up and died.
Never heard of that issue ever. Never faced that issue.
Therefore, it didn't exist. What about the time where the yellow C-stick for the GameCube controller started sticking or going in the wrong direction, causing a lot of issues with that?
Never heard of it. Not a thing.
What about the left thumbstick one?
Not a thing.
Nothing. Okay, maybe I'm just losing it here. I could be making stuff up at this rate.
I see this as a good thing for like certain types of games. Because there are certain types of games that are on the Switch that would be like, there's some games I've seen like that would be a fantastic 3DS game, in the sense not that to prolong the life of the 3DS, but it still has that kind of feeling, when you're sitting in the back of a car, or you're traveling around, or you're just sitting on your couch and you're just playing something, right? I have found at times, just because of my handheld history, like I had the Advance, then I had the DS Lite, and then I had the 3DS. The Switch at times is a little bit much for certain games, just in terms of size.
I think there is only one Nintendo system since the Super Nintendo that I can give full credit that feels like it's almost indestructible in their quality. And I'm going to say it's the Nintendo Wii. Especially the controllers. The problem is, though, the controllers are so indestructible that there was no immovable object when their wrists started snapping and they went into windows and TVs.
I'm pretty sure as long as you've been treating it fairly, you wouldn't be able to find a Nintendo Wii system that has any major issues.
Right, there might be scuff marks and whatnot, but I've never heard of.
Yeah, those things. Actually, now that I think about it, those things are resilient as fuck.
The Wiimote controllers, they're so dangerously perfect and like not taking abuse that you would have to put a half-inch rubber condom on top of them.
I remember
of Nintendo, that. So they had to resist lawsuits.
Yeah.
They would mail them to you for free. The Wiimote condoms.
What were your thoughts on the Switch Lite, Tyler?
I'm gonna say, I thought you said the Switch, like Tyler, and I was like, oh, you want to talk about the Nintendo Switch? Well, no, the Switch Lite, I'm not gonna lie, I can see why if somebody who doesn't have a Nintendo Switch wants this, I can respect that. There's a lot of people who enjoy playing the Nintendo Switch, mostly handheld. I'm not one of those people, but I can respect those who do. I don't like the idea that for only $100 cheaper, I'm losing that as an option if I ever wanted to, give it a shot and whatnot. As well as a lot of other things. There's also a lot of games out there that actually perform worse on the handheld. I'm looking over at, oh crap, what is that game? Oh my gosh, I can't remember that game. I never played it. It's a RPG where you're running around and collecting like swords and suits and stuff. It's Chronicles. Something Chronicles.
Xenoblade?
Oh my gosh. Xenoblade, thank you.
Okay.
Where like on the handheld, it was just actually worse for some reason.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. I know you probably never played it either, but
no. Again, which is like if you have the Switch, and again, it depends on the kind of gamer you are and what you're playing. I don't think you'd see any reason, unless you just really wanted it. I don't think you'd see any reason to getting the Switch Lite. But if you're somebody who enjoys certain games playing on the Switch, they're not great handheld, but you want to dock them in, and then you want to play certain games on the Switch Lite on the go, if that's your thing, then I can kind of see that fitting into your lifestyle.
I would like to finish my thought, if I may.
Sorry. Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I'm not saying you interrupt me. How dare, no, I'm saying like I want to finish the note here with a controversial opinion, or at least a questionable opinion. I personally think that you should only get this if you are under the age of 12. I'm sorry, but if you are not a child, you do not need this. Yes, they come out in pretty colors. Congratulations. Are you attracted by, the lightning bugs in your forest too? Pretty flowers. Just put a flower to the back of your Switch. There's skins on it, and people is like, don't get attracted because they're pretty colors and they're smaller and they're there's etched designs of Pokemon in the back. Cool. I'm saying this while Nick in the chat has bought a PlayStation 4, I'm pretty sure, with like Destiny etchings on it or some crap like that. Or the Star Wars Battlefront PSP that was, cool white with designs in the back. I'm sorry. But I really think that only, young children should appreciate something like this. If you are a grown adult who likes gaming and takes gaming seriously, you appreciate the features that the Nintendo Switch regular has, that depriving yourself for, a prettier version of the system, it's silly. Don't do that.
I disagree.
I
disagree.
Okay,
I disagree to some extent. I feel like
you use an iPhone, don't you?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Anyways, I'm not making a correlation or anything.
I disagree. Just like I said, I will focus that certain games are just better in handheld, and the Switch Lite will make it easier for you to carry something around handheld, because the regular Switch for me is way too much handheld, like just to handle. It was a little uncomfortable on the plane at times because
it can be unwieldy on the plane.
Yeah. That's not to say it isn't comfortable in other areas where I have more space, but for a game like Pokemon, I think on a Switch Lite, if it can uphold the performance, because we did get abysmal frame rates on the 3DS, I think the Switch Lite might be a go-to. Because I was the same. That's why I got a DS and a 3DS. I didn't give a shit about any other game series except for Pokemon. That's all I wanted it for.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you and a very, very large group of people are in the same boat with that.
So if somebody wants it for just for Pokemon, I can kind of like, all right, I get it.
I guess my big question is, you say you disagree because of what?
For certain games, I disagree.
You think having a smaller, simpler handheld would be better for something like Pokemon?
Yeah, I do. Like as much as I loved seeing, Let's Go on my TV. I think there are people who, I know when you said people under 12, over 12 shouldn't have this. It doesn't include people who either can't afford it and really want to play. Like, if you can afford it and stuff, if you're over 12, you shouldn't have a Switch. You should have a Switch, which is what I was assuming, which I think is fair to say you were coming from.
Are you hoping I'm redeeming myself from all other stipulations of why somebody shouldn't get this?
No, I'm just trying to clarify. It's like, in a situation where if you had the money, and if you had to choose, if you're 16 and you had to choose between a Switch and a Switch Lite, you should probably go for the Switch, is what I was assuming you're, basically...
Yes, I'm applying the same logic to if I had to pick between getting a compact laptop that I can't upgrade or do any features, or have a desktop to where I can, do additional things to it. I'm always going to pick the desktop.
Right. So
it might be harder to move.
Yeah. No. So on the same logic, if thinking about me a couple of years ago when I really wanted to get the 3DS, and it was around when the 3DS XL came out, I think. Finances were a struggle growing up when I want to switch. I want 3DS so I can play games. They're like, why would you want to do that? They were willing to compromise on the 3DS. So if you're like a college student, you're like, I really want to play Pokemon, or I want to play Octopath, or I want to play Celeste. I can see certain games and why buying the Switch Lite would be a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree in this case. This is nice. I like having different points of views on this, Nick.
Yeah, no,
it's nice.
It's refreshing. We haven't done that a lot before, because not that I just go along with whatever Tyler says or he does the same with me. It's just we've generally thought the same in certain cases. But here, I really like the Switch Lite. I think it's cool.
And I absolutely hate it.
Fucking fantastic.
I don't like the fact. I'm gonna say it.
And actually, no sarcasm there either. It's just good. It's refreshing.
Yeah, nah, fuck you, mate.
So we did. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna start wrapping up. I did want to quickly talk about some new Pokemon news, but I think we're just gonna hold off until we have more. All I'm gonna say is that they've announced Gigantamaxing from Dynamaxing. They've now talked about Gigantamaxing, and it's kind of like I'm getting Sun and Moon feels again, Tyler. It's kind of like they're just throwing shit at us at this point.
This random bullshit. This is
It pains me to say that. I'm still gonna buy the games, but that's what it feels like. They're like, oh, now we have Gigantamaxing. I'm like, all right, cool.
It's essentially just mega evolving and then mega evolving. It's like simple free plan evolving, mega evolving, and then you got premium evolving.
This was the situation with it reminds me of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Right, so Yu-Gi-Oh! as a series, as the game, the card game progressed, starting off, you had very simple. You had monster cards, you had spell cards, trap cards, and you had fusion cards and fusion monsters. Right, that's all you had. And then you had certain cards that had to be ritual summoned, and then now you have XYZ summons. You have Mecha Tuner summons. You've got Pendulum summons. It's kind of like, why don't you just not? Don't play the game.
I know the feeling. It's Pokemon. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Nick in the chat does have a very important thing that he wanted to point out here. If you're okay, I'd like to take away with it.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah. No, I understand.
So, as Nick in the chat had pointed out, the Splatoon's 2 final Splatfest's happening this week, this upcoming weekend. So if you own Splatoon 2, as anybody with a good heart should, also was given by the person that is pointing this information out, you should understand that this is actually a very important and final event. this is the final Splatfest of this game. It's going to be happening July 18th to the 21st, so Friday through Sunday. And it's going to be just a simple black and white style vote of chaos versus order, which, you know, I've played enough Kingdom Hearts where I'm just not used you know, I'm used to this kind of shit. And no. So essentially it's Pearl versus Marina is how they're trying to put it out as. And so, Nick, if you had to pick, are you going to go for chaos or order?
I'd go for whichever one looked coolest. In a game like this, that's what I would do. I know you. Pearl and Marina, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can pick chaos or order, but who are you going to pick?
Who's the one with pink hair?
Pink hair is Pearl.
Yeah, that's my choice.
Okay, I was always a Marina gal in this case. So, but honestly, I just want to have fun. So, I mean, you're picking chaos essentially.
Okay, well, funny how that worked out.
I know, right? How the cards lay on the ground.
Nothing I can do about it now. All right.
I said it, so it must be true. Therefore, I have no reason to be judged for picking chaos.
I am always right, especially about all that hardware stuff. Nobody else can correct me or change my mind otherwise.
Yeah, those and Nintendo 64 joysticks are titanium.
They're made of vibranium. Is it even vibranium? Pretty sure.
What the Marvel? Are you serious? Are you serious?
It's made
Captain
of vibranium.
America's shield.
Yeah.
Nick, I hope you play with me this upcoming weekend for this. If we get a shot.
Sure. I mean, if it's the final Splatfest, then it's might as well try it out. I've never participated.
Hurrah, right?
Yeah. No. I'm sure we'll make time.
Okay. And then let's aim for that next weekend then.
Okay.
I think that's it for news, Nick.
All right, so going down to game releases, we only have the one game that I could find, one big game at least coming out this week, and that's Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, coming out July 19th for the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
A lot of people excited for this, but that's really it. A little bit of a slow period we're going into, at least from what it seems like over the past few weeks, and we'll see what's going to happen. But we've got a few big hitters here on This Day in Gaming. I'm just going to go through the first two because these are games of relevance to me to some extent. So on This Day in Gaming, July 15th, we have Rimworld that came out on 2016 as early access on Steam. Rimworld is a top-down colony manager that I've put quite a few hours into. And then
I never really got a chance to play it, but it's I like to think of it as a pretty big game, right?
I couldn't even talk about the one thing I've never paid attention to is game population, even for online games. So I have no idea how big the community is, but it must be sizable if there's so many people making mods for it. There's a fuck ton of mods for it, so I would imagine it's a sizable community. Tyler, what is this game you've injected in between my list? Here, Tyler, huh?
I'm sorry, Sensei. I didn't mean to dare question your quality, but there's an important game that came out on PC to the world back in 2014, making this game 5 years old. I believe it came out on like the Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance originally, but I think that it's important. Happy 5th birthday to Shantae, Risky's Revenge, the director's cut, which came out on Steam 5 years ago.
Okay, yeah, I was just looking it up.
Have you heard of Shantae game? Have you heard of Shantae?
No. I've heard. I think, I have heard of this game.
Okay. Have you ever played one?
No, I have not played one, my good sir.
Ooh. Have you ever considered playing it?
I'm open to new experiences of all kind, my good sir.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad for you. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
All the money. Also,
yeah.
You have a beard.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. Let me just get through this list.
Yeah, it's okay. 3 minutes.
Max Payne came out this year, This Day in Gaming 2001. A game that has been a core part of me growing up as a quote-unquote gamer that I attempted to play on stream start to finish, but it's such a janky fucking game that didn't age well, but still a beautiful fucking concept. I'm in love with Max Payne. Yeah. Tyler, do you want to tell us a little bit about these last two? Because these are right up your alley.
These both are arcade games that just came out for the Nintendo Entertainment System back in 1983, but Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. both came out for the original Nintendo 26 years ago. Sorry,
36. Yeah.
36 years. Yeah, I'm old as shit. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah. No problem. I just put them in there to make you feel bad.
No, it's okay. That's fine. I'm not that old, okay? 1991.
All right. If you say so, calm down. Calm down.
Sorry.
Okay.
Midlife crisis.
Don't do it again. All right, Tyler, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at 2timestyler. What about you, Nick?
You can find me on Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter at LRWarrior11. You can find our show, Casual Master Quest, at a lot of places. You can contact us via email, casualmasterquest@gmail.com, or you can contact us on Twitter at MasterQuestPod. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram by just putting Casual Master Quest into the search bar. And also, you can find us, and I've been meaning to do this for a while actually, or thinking about suggesting this, but you can find us, our show, on Podbean, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, and any other podcast listening service.
Hell fucking yeah. If we don't have it, let us know, because we got to keep that claim going, because I put it on fucking everything I can find.
Hell yeah.
Heart radio.
So, just as a last word, Tyler, you mentioned my beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, you said you're going to shave it.
Yeah.
Maybe. For $30?
I mean, that was a joke. I might eventually
$30 is $30.
Hmm?
I said $30 is $30.
$30 is $30, but I might just end up doing it. It's kind of one of those things where I go through a mood. And I just, I'm treating my Twitter now as like a shit talking board, and just kind of seeing whatever what kind of shit I could throw out there that can land. But I will eventually, I think, in a few weeks, end up going full clean shaven. And I'm talking about not just taking a machine and just going face bald, but razor after that too.
Good deal.
Yeah.
You can check us out. Did you say the Casual Master Quest?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. I think that's it, Nick.
All right. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. We are getting close to the end of season 3. We've got 2 episodes left. We appreciate you all. We love you all. I'm Nick, joined by my lovely co-host today, Tyler.
And Nick says he'll pay for Shantae for the Switch if you shave your beard.
And don't forget to never stop the grind.
We'll see you next week, guys. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, my beard.
The intro to the podcast, titled Casual Master Quest, was paid for and produced by the wonderful talent Revelries Music. You can find more of their work at soundcloud.com/Revelries Music, or just click on the link in the show descriptions. The background music is the album Top 50 Best Classical Piano Music by Brilliant Classics. You can find out more about Creative Commons at www.creativecommons.org/license/by/4.0.